Hello, everyone. I'm just going to give a few minutes for our participants to make their way into the Zoom platform. I'm seeing the participant numbers go up and just keeping an eye on that. It would be fascinating research at Zoom to find out what time the meetings actually start, and what proportion of participants log in between the scheduled start time and the actual start time. I'm sure that'd be some very interesting data to look at, but we're just going to give ours another minute here and then I'll get started. All right. So good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on which part of the world you're in joining us from today. And welcome to today's transatlantic webinar, bringing together leaders from Spain and Canada's research, innovation, and biotechnology sectors. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Buenas tardes a todas y todos. My name is Carolee Garrett, and I'm the Consul and Trade Commissioner of Canada based in Barcelona, Spain, and I'm delighted to be your moderator today. Today's program is the result of a close collaboration between the Canadian Trade Commissioner Service in Spain and Spain's National Research Council, or CSIC. We are delighted to bring together experts from Canada and Spain to strengthen scientific connections, share best practices, and explore opportunities for future cooperation. Although we are welcoming participants from multiple countries and linguistic backgrounds, today's webinar will be conducted in English to facilitate communication using the most widely shared language among our speakers and audience. We have a full and exciting program with an exceptional line of experts, so thank you again for joining us. Let's begin. Now, to officially open today's program, it is my pleasure to introduce Javier Mayra, head of the Knowledge Transfer Office at CSIC, who will deliver welcome remarks. Javier has held a range of research and technology transfer roles at CSIC, the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, the European Commission, and in the private sector. He has been a part of the Vice Presidency for Innovation and Transfer at CSIC since 2005. Javier holds a PhD in Chemical Sciences from the Autonomous University of Madrid. Javier, I will now turn the microphone over to you. Oh, Javier, you're muted, I think.
Hello now. Can you hear me? All right. Now it's okay. Thank you, Carolee. Thank you very much. Good morning in Canada. Good afternoon in Spain. Welcome to this BioPharma Innovation Exchange session. Unfortunately, Ana Castro, the CSIC Vice President for Innovation and Transfer, was unable to attend today due to agenda constraints. So I will be representing her in this opening. It's a great pleasure to open today's session on her behalf. I'm truly delighted to see that more than 30 people right now are connected from both Spain and Canada. Hopefully, the number of people will increase during my opening. So first, I would like to thank the Consulate of Canada in Barcelona, and in particularly Cara Lee Jarrett, for proposing and driving this event, as well as for her interest in collaborating with the SIC and with Spain. Cara Lee, you have been really very active during last month, and we really appreciate it. I would also like to thank all the speakers for dedicating their time and expertise to this event, and all the TC colleagues who have helped making this session possible. This event aims to foster new collaboration between Spain and Canada, between Spanish and Canadian stakeholders, to promote excellence in research and to accelerate innovation that benefits society. We strongly believe that Canada should be considered an strategic partner from Europe, and of course from Spain, taking into account the general situation, I would say, as strategic partners across many areas, and in particularly in research and innovation. So we have a very complete program today. We will begin with the main public research organization of each country, the CSIC and the National Research Council of Canada. They will offer a comparative perspective of how both institutions address scientific challenge and define research strategies in the field of biotechnology. Following that, we will move on to a session about innovative biotechnology initiatives developed in Spain and Canada. Later on, we will have a perspective from the industrial sectors with the participation of ACBio, the Spanish Bioindustry Association, and Biotech Canada, the Industrial Biotechnology Association of Canada. This session will help us understand how different ecosystems support startups, scale-ups, and industry research collaborations. We will then continue with a practical session exploring funding opportunities to support Spain-Canada collaborations in the biopharmaceutical sector, especially focusing the Horizon Europe program. And later, there will be an introduction to how to use the business-to-business platform. This tool is available from today to the 4th of September, so it will be open for 2 weeks. We hope that a new collaboration will emerge by using this tool, and I can guarantee you that the SIC is very interested in working with Canadian companies and institutions. So today's gathering is more than a sequence of presentation. It's an opportunity to identify shared interests and research priorities, explore new models of collaboration, connect institutions, companies, and researchers, and above all, to build long-lasting partnerships. So to conclude, I encourage all you to actively participate, ask questions. The chat is already open for it. Think about possible collaboration and make the most of the business-to-business platform. So the session will be recorded, by the way, and will be available online for later viewing. Thanks again for joining us today. Let us begin. So thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Javier. Just one point to add, as Javier mentioned, we'll have 3 core thematic sessions leading off our programming today on research and discovery organizations, pathways to commercialization, and business and innovation ecosystems. For each of these themes, we will have 10 minutes presentation from a Spanish speaker, followed by 10 minutes from a Canadian speaker. And after those 2 presentations, there'll be a 10-minute Q&A session where you can direct your questions to both panelists. As Javier has mentioned, we would encourage you to use the chat function to send your questions in as you're listening to the speakers, and then we'll collect those at the end and ask them. Without any further ado, I'd like to now transition to our first session on research and discovery organizations. We're going to dive into the foundations of scientific progress, essentially our research and discovery organizations that are driving innovation in both countries. To lead off the conversation, I'm pleased to welcome Nuria Verdaguer, coordinator of the Biology and Biomedicine area at the Consejo Superior de Investigaciones Científicas, CSIC, or Spain's National Research Council. Nuria is a research professor at the Institute of Molecular Biology of Barcelona and head of the Virus and Large Biological Complexes Group, as well as deputy coordinator for biology and biomedicine within CSIC's Global Vida or Life area. Her research focuses on the structure-function relationships of proteins and macromolecular complexes that play a direct role in the pathological processes. Nuria, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I share my talk here. And okay, you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first, I would like to begin by thanking the organizers for inviting me to share this brief overview of my institution here. The physics research spans the full spectrum of knowledge, from fundamental science to advanced technology and development. Today's scientific challenges, increasing the demand a transdisciplinary approach where traditional boundaries fade and knowledge areas converge to drive innovation. This is just to show you some numbers, not more. CSIC currently has 121 research institutes plus 3 national centers that are distributed throughout the national territory. With one exception, that is the Escuela Española de Historia y Arqueología in Rome. Of these institutes, 50 of them are joint centers with other institutions that are mainly universities. Also, there are 9 research support units that provide technical and administrative services to 2 or more institutes, and also there are additional support offered through institutional delegations across the different autonomous communities. CSIC has a remarkably strong activity in the international funding zone, with 525 agreements in force across 78 countries, and has also a significant presence in European programs, including ERC and also H2020 or Horizon Europe. Activity is also significant in mobility calls. In this part, the 60% of these funds are devoted to scientific cooperation for development. The research at CSIC spans 3 interconnected global areas: society, life, and materia, whose close collaboration makes possible to address interdisciplinary challenges, drive excellence, transfer knowledge across nearly all fields. The global area life is the biggest and most diverse life science network in Spain. It joins 1,045 research groups across 64 research institutions, and leads cutting-edge work on sustainable development, climate change, personalized medicine, future foods, and healthy aging, among others, joining forces with the other scientific areas to tackle major global challenges. Cellular and molecular biology and medicine are at the heart of this global area life, with 19 institutes driving research that has high impact on real-world applications. The scientists in this area explore diverse fields from structural biology and genomics to cancer, neurobiology, infectious diseases, and synthetic biology, among others, advancing our understanding on health and disease. The FESIC strategy promotes innovation, international presence, and collaboration while anticipating future scientific challenges. I'm showing here key initiatives. These initiatives include 17 interdisciplinary thematic platforms, the PTIs, that tackle high-impact multidisciplinary problems with research groups and also industrial participants. There are also 15 hubs that connect scientists to share knowledge and work jointly, and also 14 white books that outline research priorities and challenges for the coming decades. Challenges in biomedicine and health, I'm showing here some examples, such cancer or nanomedicine or rare diseases, are being tackled to these strategic collaborative initiatives that I mentioned before, that bring together research groups and expertise to drive innovation and real-world solutions. The FESIC also offers cutting-edge scientific resources, including its unique Chemioteca. It's a large collection of original, structurally diverse compounds that help identifying promising molecules for the developing new medicines. It also hosts the Phagoteca One Health, that is the first span collection of bacteriophages capable of targeting major antimicrobials for hospital, farms, and environment, and supporting their transfer to pharmaceutical sector. There is another important network that is the Rare Disease Network that brings together research lines, groups, and available technologies in the field of rare disease, addressing the complexity of these conditions through the convergence of knowledge and resources at national and also international levels. There's another network is the network for biochemical translational services. It brings together FESIC services and research groups involved in drug development and preclinical evaluation, acting as a single point of contact for multidisciplinary research and developmental needs. In the next session, my colleague Jesus Martinez de la Fuente will give a talk dedicated entirely to this project. I would also mention this BCV Hub, that is a new digital platform designed to map, showcase, and strengthen the computational biology and bioinformatics community at our institution. Also, this new Net Derma project that aims to foster collaborations between research groups from the Spanish Academy of Dermatology and Venerology and the CSIC, joining forces to tackle dermatological changes that still lack effective solutions. Well, now this turning discoveries in solutions, we have a portfolio that delivers real-world health solutions with around 650 active licensed patents support healthcare, including treatment products and advanced therapies, reflecting the strong impact of our innovations on improving people's life. Finally, I would like to show you also some initiatives that transform lives. We bring together researchers, companies, public institutions, and media to raise awareness or, in this case, rare diseases, highlighting the CSIC contribution through initiatives like this Cicerone itinerary, and also the first research priorities workshop where patients, doctors, and scientists work side by side to identify real needs, such defining research priorities for this disease, the hereditary hemorrhagic telangiectasia, the EHT, ensuring that science focuses on what truly matters. And okay, that's all. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Nuria, for that fantastic overview. Now from Canada, I'm pleased to welcome Stacey Nunes, Team Lead of Business Management for the Human Health Therapeutics Research Center at the National Research Council. He has over 30 years of experience in research and development and has been involved in the commercialization and transfer of technology from government laboratories for over 15 years. He helps manage a portfolio of over 100 patent families and is responsible for licensing these technologies and developing collaborations with industry, academia, and other organizations. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry from York University and a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Ottawa, and has also studied international business at Reims University in France. Stacey, I will now turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you very much. I will hopefully share my presentation here. Can everybody see it? Yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
Great. So Carolee, thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Aurora Polo and everyone else in the group that helped organize this event to allow me to present to you what the national research can do when an organization or company is developing a drug product. Okay, there we go. So NRC essentially has two arms. One arm is the Industrial Research Assistance Program, and it is responsible for delivering on national funding programs that the Government of Canada establishes. From an IRAP perspective, most of these deliveries are to companies, are to SMEs, small to medium enterprises, which tends to be the focus of the funding development here. IRAP is also, for this crowd, involved in the delivery of international programs that Canada is part of, such as Horizon, Eureka, and others. The other arm of NRC is its national network of researchers and facilities. So these are the bricks and mortar research facilities that exist across Canada. And this is where I'll spend the majority of my time on this presentation. So we are the Government of Canada's largest research and development organization. We were established over 100 years ago. We have over 2,000 scientists, engineers, and technicians across Canada. We go from life sciences to emerging and digital technologies. We have specialized facilities in over 100 buildings in 22 sites across Canada. And you can see these in the red dots on this map of Canada. Within that, there's a national network. We've helped over 8,000 SMEs over the course of the last couple of decades. And we also, of course, maintain IRAP offices across Canada. Those are the offices in blue. And they are the ones that, as I said earlier, deliver the funding programs that Canada has. In terms of the research centers, we are divided into about 12 of them. They go from aerospace to construction to ocean and coastal research. A lot of times, a research project will involve more than one research center. For example, when COVID hit, we did a lot of research with aerospace, with construction, to look at the containment of COVID and how it is spread on airplanes and in buildings. So we do, try to work across the council. The life science research centers are highlighted in yellow. So aquatic and crop resource development is mostly focused on turning the things that we grow and harvest into usable products. And for this crowd, natural health products are typically researched within ACRD. The Medical Devices Research Center has in vitro diagnostics, in vivo diagnostics, ex vivo diagnostics, also implantable devices, basically anything that would be considered a medical device. We have particular expertise in microfluidic technologies for creating, say, point of care devices. I'm going to focus most of my attention here on the human health therapeutics portfolio, in which we develop new drug technologies. So we tend now to span the gamut from drug discovery all the way to final product. We used to be confined mostly to the left side of this graph, drug discovery, preclinical testing, and preclinical bioprocess development. And in that space, we maintain a number of platform technologies and capabilities and expertise. The idea is that we will develop these platforms so that individual companies don't have to. So, where there's a need in neurotherapeutics development for a technology to deliver the therapeutics into the brain, we've developed blood-brain barrier delivery platforms. And because we have that platform, a company developing an Alzheimer's drug can come to us and we can work with them to help get their drug into the brain. So, we can provide services. We will develop some key assays, key technology assays. Again, in the blood-brain barrier space, we developed a blood-brain barrier model for assessing how a drug can or cannot get across the blood-brain barrier. We will develop manufacturing technologies. We've developed cell lines so that we can manufacture antibodies, proteins, and biologics. Again, we typically stayed in the preclinical space, but COVID kind of forced us to look at our national infrastructure, realize that we were a little short in GMP manufacturing. And since we had done the development of biomanufacturing preclinically and were able to tech transfer to GMP facilities, we ended up building our own facility in Montreal. And we also maintain what we call a clinical trial material facility for the manufacture of smaller amounts of material up to 500-liter production capabilities. And then we can pass this on either to a CMO, or again, we also built a larger scale biologics manufacturing center for that goes up to 2,000-liter. So our core expertise is in four main areas, four main buckets. So we made the decision probably in the late 1990s, early 2000s to focus on biologics research. So we don't really do a lot of small molecule work anymore. And in doing so, we wanted to create tools and capabilities specifically for biologics. So we maintain a number of antibody libraries, monoclonal antibody libraries, multifunctional antibodies, but we've got a deep expertise in a format of antibody called single domain antibodies. We've had a cross license with a commercial company in Belgium called Ablinks since the early 2000s. And so we can take a target of yours, derive the single domain antibody, or if you want a monoclonal antibody or other antibodies, and then start to scale that up. We also have capabilities to, refine and further develop, determine what the binding capacity of these antibodies are, start to engineer them. We can humanize them, increase their binding efficiency, and other areas of optimization, essentially, of antibodies. And we work with a lot of great Canadian companies such as Abcelera, Zymeworks, who have built their reputation on antibody development. Within vaccines, the National Research Council actually developed the very first glycoconjugate vaccine. This was a vaccine against meningitis C. It's gone on to save thousands of lives. It's made billions of dollars when it was licensed to Baxter and GSK. And we've taken that knowledge and developed other glycoconjugate vaccines. We've developed adjuvants for helping deliver these vaccines. We've developed immunomodulators. And more recently, we've looked at some defense vaccines. We have containment facilities, biosafety level 2 and biosafety level 3, to help with the manufacture and testing of potentially contagious bacteria. Around 2016, we got a call from the government. It was just after Kymriah, the CD19 CAR T therapy was approved in Canada. The approval price was around $500,000 per patient, which was a little bit steep. And so they asked if we could do anything about it. So we went ahead and formed a cell and gene therapy program. We have since launched or helped with clinical trials in Canada of CAR T therapies that target CD19 and CD22, and we are looking at others. And we also looked at gene therapy and kind of declared a moonshot to go after a specific rare disease in Canada called LPLD. It's lipoprotein lipase deficiency. And this rare disease happens to have a higher prevalence in Canada. But it's more of a moonshot. And similar to how, the original NASA moonshot wasn't necessarily about just getting to the moon. It was also about developing ceramics technologies, propulsion technologies, even dehydrated food. Our moonshot for developing this gene therapy, LPLD gene therapy, will also go on to help develop new AAV platforms, new cell lines for the manufacture of these gene therapies, et cetera. So we have had that program running since 2018, and we're just starting to wind it up now and looking at sharing and licensing the technologies that came out of it. Biomanufacturing has been a long time expertise within the National Research Council, within HHT in particular. So again, in terms of specific platform technologies, we've developed a number of proprietary cell lines with full freedom to operate, so that Canadian companies and others can manufacture their biologics in large scale. We can do the process development. We can develop purification techniques. We can do all the characterization. We can develop the in-process assays. All of that is within the bailiwick of our biomanufacturing research group. So across these 4 areas, we have over 300 researchers and technicians, predominantly in 3 sites in Montreal, Ottawa, and Halifax. And so we look to work with other companies that are in these spaces. So who are we looking for in terms of partners? Basically, anybody who is looking to develop their technology and wants to access our capabilities to help move it forward, move it down the pipeline. but also any other organizations or companies that have kind of complementary expertise and technologies. In Canada, we've developed a number of lipid nanoparticle companies, LNP companies like Aquitas and Entos helped to develop the COVID vaccines of today. And so we've now started working with those companies with our single domain antibodies to see if we can target LNPs to deliver drugs to very specific locations. So that's an example of where we have a capability. We want to partner with companies that have maybe an mRNA technology, maybe an RNA-based technology that they need to deliver, and we can co-develop this. And because we're the government of Canada, when we work with you, we intend to make sure that you're the one that goes forward and develops the technology commercially. So our role is to fill the gaps and, essentially by filling these gaps, provide value with some of our platform technologies and expertise. We can also be a gateway to a lot of the Canadian companies that we work with, like AbCellera, Zymeworks. Canada's distinguished itself in antibodies with those two companies. We've distinguished ourselves in radiopharmaceuticals with companies like Fusion and Abdera because we do have a long history of radioisotopes in Canada. We've distinguished ourselves with technologies like antibody drug conjugates, and of course, as I mentioned, with LNPs. So if you are looking to partner, we are a signatory to Horizon. We are a signatory to Eureka. Again, those programs are delivered through our IRAP system, but they work very, hand in glove with the research centers when we look to partner. That's basically about it. So if you would like to get in touch with us, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I also listed my colleague Alex Serrano's information because there are a number of organizations looking for biomanufacturing capabilities. And so I thought I would list him separately. We have a team of about 10 business development people that are ready to discuss and see how we can possibly collaborate. So on that, I want to thank again Carolee and Aurora and the rest of the organizing team for this presentation opportunity. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Stacy. So perhaps we can invite Nordia to open her mic as well, and we'll open it up for questions from the audience. And as those questions start to come in, we don't have any just yet. I'll lead off with one of my own. It's the advantage of being the moderator. So what are the main scientific challenges your organizations are currently addressing in the biopharma space?
Okay. Some of the challenges I have mentioned during the talk are particularly relevant in biology and biomedicine. In particular, for the biopharma, I think that at least one major challenge is tackling emerging diseases and antimicrobial resistance. I think the growing threat of pandemics and zoonosis and the antimicrobial resistance demands rapid, flexible strategies for drug and vaccine development. And biopharma needs to innovate in areas like antiviral therapies, phage therapies, and novel antimicrobial approaches to respond quickly to evolving pathogens. Well, I think there is also another challenge in precision and personalized medicine, developing therapies tailored to individual patients requires an understanding of the all mechanism involved. And biopharma must integrate these advanced technologies in genomics, bioinformatics, artificial intelligence to predict response, and reduce side effects and design more effective treatments. Well, these are two examples. Sure,
Right.
there are more.
There absolutely are more, but I think AMR is certainly one of them. Personalized medicine is another, and I think you've kind of summed those up very well. I would say also from an NRC perspective, we're looking at the accessibility of drugs to patients, and a lot of that has to do with kind of tailoring these technologies to the commercial environment and essentially bringing costs down, right? So, you look at CAR T as an example, I've never seen results like I have seen with CAR T therapies in clinical trials in Canada. And, this is not something that can help delay a cancer, onslaught. This is something that absolutely eliminates it. But at $500,000 a patient, I mean, it's not going to help enough people with the amount of money that we have. So we created the cell and gene therapy program to try to bring down the cost of some of these cell and gene therapies and address them. And some of them are going to be addressed by adapting CAR T. So right now, autologous CAR T is what people are doing, which is a very service intensive process, right? You have to take the T cells from the patient, transfect them, and then redeliver them. The next generation is going to be allogeneic, where we're going to make some, T cells, derived T cells from, say, iPSCs. And that will make it a little bit cheaper because now it'll be off the shelf. It won't be one patient at a time. But the holy grail of this is going to be in vivo transfection, right? It's going to be delivering a lentivirus into a patient that is going to transfect the T cells in vivo. And that will dramatically bring the cost down. And that will give access to these technologies at a much, much larger level. So I think that is one of the things that we need to start doing now is looking at all of the great research that we've done and how do we package them into products that can be that patients can utilize and that the governments won't go broke in providing them.
Fantastic. So a little bit, a bit of a segue on that is how are your organizations, and you've touched on this a bit, Stacey, identifying and prioritizing research areas that are going to shape the next decade of biomedical innovation?
I'll let Nuria go first. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Well, in the case of physique, we have the physique has used these white books that are developed by near 1,000 researchers across all physics centers and detecting different teams that were selected for their scientific impact and societal relevance. Covering both fundamental questions and also applied challenges that are aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In these white books are the research in physics center their strategies for the future years research.
From my perspective, again, it's about developing kind of the tools and platforms that we see helping with technologies in the future, right?
Sure.
And so, back in the early 2000s, we saw cell lines as being a kind of an inhibition to that development. So we tried to create some cell lines that we had, freedom to operate. I mean, again, I love my commercial partners like Lonza and Sigma Aldrich, but sometimes they can get quite expensive and too expensive for a startup, right? That's trying to develop something new. So we developed those cell lines. We developed, again, when we looked at neurotherapeutics and biologics, we saw that getting into the brain was going to be a problem. So again, the focus on developing a delivery technology there. And then when we look at the high cost of antibody drugs now, again, gene therapy is that next generation where you don't have to have the big biomanufacturing, bioprocess capabilities, you turn a body into a bioprocess, a bioprocessor, a biomanufacturer, right? So yeah, I think you have to look at the marketplace, see where the directions are, and then see those technologies which could fit, but that no company is going to necessarily take the time and energy to develop on their own. And so we'll either develop it or we'll look for a company to develop it with, and then using our capabilities, try to help expedite that. Because I think the new thing in the future is going to be speed to market. Because these technologies are rolling over so quickly, you can't sit on an antibody technology for 20 years because then that in vivo antibody is going to come out shortly thereafter. So I think we have to start developing ready-made tools so that these technologies can move forward quickly.
Mhm. Well, in the case of FSIC, also concentrates these efforts to tackle these thematic challenges in these interdisciplinary thematic platforms, these PTIs that are the instrument of research and innovation that has created by joint multidisciplinary aspects to address these challenges. It joins groups, industry partners, also government and society to address the decided challenge. One example is, for example, this PTI Global Health, that it applies the One Health approach to prevent, predict, respond to global emerging infectious diseases, zoonosis, also antimicrobial resistance, neglected tropical diseases, and also the SIG uses these PTIs to foster the next generation of researchers, ensuring that knowledge is transformed into practical benefits for global health. Well, this global health is one example. There are other PTIs in the institution. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to both of you for these insightful perspectives. And I have a feeling we could do an entire webinar just with the two of you almost, but unfortunately we don't have the time, so we'll have to move on. Nice segue though into turning to the critical bridge between science and society, which is commercialization, how discoveries become real world solutions. So I'd like now to invite our Spanish speaker on this session, Jesus Martinez de la Fuente, who's the coordinator of RST Biomed, the Spanish National Research Council's network of services for biomedical translation. Jesus is a research professor at the Institute of Nanoscience and Materials of Aragon and founder of the BioNanoSurf group. His research focuses on designing nanomaterials for advanced therapeutics and diagnostic applications with a strong focus on nanoparticle biofunctionalization. He holds 9 patents and is the founder of several technology companies. Jesus, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Sorry that I did it. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Looks
Yes.
good.
Okay, great. So thank you very much for your kind introduction. And I would like also to thank the organizers of this meeting for inviting me. Allow me also to present this new initiative from CSIC, that is the Network of Services for Biomedical Translation. This has been an initiative that it was conceived like 1.5 years ago, and we have been operative around less than 1 year ago. And is part of the Biomed plan from CSIC. And this network is a network that integrates different research groups involved in all different steps from the drug development and different preclinical evaluation. And the idea is to access single point of contact for the biotechnological and pharmaceutical sectors at different RT and I level. In fact, we realize that there are many proof of concepts in pharmaceutical field at the development level that often are coming from small enterprises, mainly spin-offs and startups from universities or research centers, that they don't have the full capability to use advanced techniques and models. It's something similar what Stacy was talking about just a few minutes ago. And at CSIC, as Nuria mentioned, we are the biggest research institution in the country and one of the biggest in Europe. And we have a long amount of different experts and top-tier infrastructure in all different fields, going from chemistry, material science, biology, physics, social science, etc. And we can help in the development and to speed up the commercialization of different products, bringing this technology and this knowledge and going through all the different steps from the development of a pharmaceutical product. As I mentioned, we have different experts going in the design of new molecules, in the drug release, design of new structures, design new formulation, and also studying the toxicological studies, cytotoxicological studies, studying chemical stability. But we can also have, and we have many different preclinical models from cells to animals, going from rare diseases, immune systems, cancer, respiratory diseases, etc. The main problem is that sometimes for the SMEs it's difficult to localize all these different expertise in the whole institution. I mean, we are thousands of researchers in hundreds of research centers. So the idea of our network is to facilitate the drug transfer and accelerating the process going from the lab to the clinical trials, providing access to the characterization systems and cellular animal models along the whole centers, along the whole institution, as a SIG institution, and provide a network of advanced capabilities for the innovative and accessible drug design, formulation, characterization, and also preclinical testing. As Nuria mentioned, we are more than 120 research centers spread along the country, and so far in our network we have around 100 groups from different fields, mainly life science. We have 69, 70 groups in life science, and we have around 30 groups that join our network for chemistry and material science. Our vision is to optimize the cost and the management times by providing an integrated service. As I mentioned, if we have a SME that, for example, is interested to develop a new nanoformulation and they have an active principle that is working and they would like to improve their drug delivery just by a liposome, for example, they will need many expertise in the encapsulation, formation of these nanoparticles, the characterization of the nanoparticles, and also in the clinical, in the preclinical studies, going from cells to animals. It's very difficult that one single research team will have all this expertise. Mainly, these kind of projects will involve several research teams. In our structure, at the end, this company will need to have 4 or 5 different contracts, find the right people to do it. After that, fill the different contracts, sign different NDAs, different NTAs, different contracts, and bringing all this network in one single entry point, we will help them to minimize all the bureaucracy process. And at the end, bureaucracy time is also cost, and we can also improve and help them to manage the development in a faster way. In the point of view, an internal point of view, it's also important to us to harmonize our capabilities and protocols to bring to the industry something that they are more used to, that is a quality system and a services and a work that is more closer what they are used to do. In research centers, at the end, we are more focused in the result, but we are not so focused in having good protocols, good procedures that they are well established and they are reliable. And our idea is to change this culture in our teams, in our scientists, in order to professionalize our research and to bring it closer and to break this misleading of languages between research done in research center and the research done in industry in SMEs. And also to improve our competitiveness and alignment with the needs of the sector, as I said, to act like an important actor in the interaction between industry and research in our country. In order to explain you how we work, we have several projects. One big project that is more than 2 million euros running, that is focused in the development of a new nanoformulation based on a protein that is a carrier of a specific active principle, and we are signing several other projects. The users find us just by our website or just by personal contact. They fill a very short form. After that, we contact them, and our managers, they evaluate with the company their needs, and they help them also to design the full project and the full needs that this company will have. After that, our managers, they focus, they search in our portfolio the different groups or the different institutes, research centers that they can develop that work. And together with the company, with the enterprise, they establish the project. And after that, we start working on this project. We have a video that I would like to show you that will explain you very well how is the way how we work, and also how is the mentality, the idea of this.
The Spanish National Research Council, CSIC, is the largest public research organization in Spain. Since 1939, our institution has been dedicated to promoting, coordinating, and carrying out scientific and technological activities across all fields of knowledge. There are many proofs of concept in the pharmaceutical field at the development level, often coming from small and medium enterprises without the capacity to utilize advanced techniques and models. CSIC has experts and top-tier infrastructure in almost every field of knowledge. That is why the Network of Services for Biomedical Translation, RST Biomed, was created. RST Biomed acts as a single contact point to facilitate public-private collaboration focused on biotechnological and pharmaceutical R&D and I, driving progress in the development of new drugs and biomedical technologies. RST Biomed promotes the transfer of technology from CSIC to the industrial sector, ensuring that the biotechnology and pharmaceutical industries, hospitals, and even CSIC's own research groups have easy access to a consolidating, cutting-edge network of capabilities. RST Biomed relies on CSI groups with extensive expertise, covering areas such as formulation, toxicology, and preclinical models. Starting the process is very simple. Let's follow each step rigorously. CSIC research groups interested in joining RST Biomed can formalize their collaboration through an affiliation agreement with the network. Companies interested in developing their projects get in touch with RST Biomed and sign a confidentiality agreement. RST Biomed then selects the right capabilities from the CSIC research groups. Once the groups are selected, they are presented to the company. When the company accepts the project proposal, the final contract is signed. The involved groups send progress reports to RST Biomed. As a single point of contact, RST Biomed gathers these reports and sends a final summary to the company. RST Biomed facilitates the connection between companies and the CSIC groups. Join RST Biomed. We're waiting for you.
You can think that at the end is a kind of CRO, but the main advantage of this network is that for a CRO, usually they are mainly focused in some services that are very close, and it's difficult that they develop a new model or a new characterization technique. The main advantage that working with researchers from research centers is that we can do this development and help them to personalize at the end their needs and to help them to bring the product faster to the market. Okay. So at the end, the idea from our network is to simplify the collaboration as acting as a single point of contact. And in fact, we are quite surprised of the acceptance that this initiative is having for the different biotechnological and biomedical enterprises in the country. We have many applications during the last month that it has been when the network has been running. And the idea is to connect the companies with the SIC, and as I said, to establish a liability contract with them in order to have them and to be the main actors for the help to the development of their research. The network is coordinated by myself, that I'm working in an Institute of Material Science. It's more chemistry, material science part, and Eduardo Oliver, that is in the Center of Biomedical Research, that is in Madrid, and is more focused in clinical models. And we have two project managers, that is the team that we have started with, and they are helping us to define all this project and to find the different groups that they can work for these projects. Again, if you are interested to contact us, you have here this QR code. If you just click it, you will fill a very simple form that after that we will contact you in order to collect more information, and we will help you. We will be very happy to help you with any of the needs that you have. Just to finish, I would like to thank the organizer for this opportunity to present our network, and I'm sure that some new collaborations will come through this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jesus. Joining us from Canada now is Dr. Frédéric Lemaitre-Auger, Vice President of Investments at Admarte Bioinnovations, where he leads Admarte's investments and manages its portfolio companies. He brings more than 20 years' experience in life sciences investment management, including extensive health sciences venture capital expertise. He currently serves on the board of directors of various startups in the Canadian space. I'll now invite Frédéric to take it from here.
Thank you, Carolee, Aurora, and everybody involved in organizing this event. So let me just share my screen. Go. Okay. You see the presentation?
Yes, we do. It's not in presentation mode, but we see the presentation. Now it is perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so maybe before presenting Admarte Bioinnovation, I'll just present a few slides, kind of just to present the lay of the land with regards to the Canadian life sciences sector. So just to give Spanish colleagues an idea of the sector we're operating in. So life sciences as a sector is probably one of the most important part of Canada's economy. Contributes nearly as much to the GDP and exportation as the automotive sector across Canada, which comprise a lot of people and companies. So you can see about $19 billion in contribution to GDP, more than 100,000 highly qualified jobs in the sector, and about $15 billion in export. So as well, I mean, this is all possible because of the innovation enterprise in Canada, which is quite strong with high intangible asset production with regards to IP-generated patents, data, all of this stemming from research centers, hospitals, and other various groups across the country. And recently as well, maybe a current trend, which may be common with some countries in Europe, given the recent geopolitical environment, federal government of Canada has put national security as central priorities. So many stakeholders, including us, are now reflecting on ways to improve medical countermeasures, also see how we can maintain and grow our key expertise in the life sciences sectors, and also further support companies that are developing dual-use products for civilian as well as the military. So this is something that we're looking at more and more into. When you look at the life sciences sector from an investor perspective, you can see that the performance has been quite impressive in the last 10 years. And Canada punches well above its weight when you look at the objective output scales. In the last 10 years, there's been investment by venture capital groups have increased by more than 7 times in the last 10 years. And when you look at all the VC-backed exit across, let's say, the 3 main technology sectors in Canada, which are clean tech, ICT, and life sciences, 6 out of the top 10 exit came from therapeutics life sciences firms, and which makes basically the life sciences the top performing sector in the VC community in the last 10 years in Canada, which is often a statistic that's a bit surprising to people outside of the life sciences sectors, because there's much more investment being done in ICT than there is in life sciences. But the sector has been steadily shown that it can provide true returns for investors in the space. This is obviously possible because we're able to have, let's say, a very fertile ecosystem and a vast support network for both innovation and startups in Canada, starting at the universities and medical research centers, which are often centered around the 3 main hubs in Canada, which are Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal, but there's still significant research activities in the prairies around Alberta, as well as the Atlantic provinces as well. These universities are supported by a good roster of accelerator and translational groups across Canada, either focused on biopharma, medical device, digital health, or a combination of. And finally, Canada also has the benefit of having a number of specialized organizations that historically have been created and supported by the federal government of Canada, as well as some provincial government, some of them focusing on some therapeutic areas or some therapeutic modality or type of technologies. And Mari Bioinnovation being one of those specialized organizations. So, Mari, what do we do? Well, first, generally speaking, we're a pan-Canadian organization. A lot of the organization I've shown in the previous slides often are provincially focused or are linked to specific academic institution. In our case, we're basically arm's length, pan-Canadian, and our model is really to be a company creation engine. So how do we do that? So first, just to mention generally, the company is headquarters in Vancouver, but we also have a significant team in Montreal, also have presence in Toronto. And in both Vancouver and Montreal, we have innovation centers that we run, operate, in which we can host tenant companies, biotech companies, either ones in which we've invested, other companies in the ecosystem, which include therapeutic companies as well as service companies like CROs. And we also have leadership training programs that we manage as well. So how do our company creation engine model works? Well, basically, first we look at identifying highly differentiated therapeutic assets with strong clinical value proposition, typically at the preclinical stage. So they need to have some in vitro and ideally in vivo proof of concept data at the time we look at them. And where do they come from? Well, typically your usual, or let's say, Canadian universities, research centers, and research hospitals. We also get deals referred by translational groups that were presented on the previous slide, as well as referrals from our network of co-investors. So this helps us kind of leveraging our network across the country. And in recent years, we've also been looking at technologies and companies outside the country. Because of our presence across Canada, the fact that we operate 2 innovation centers, we can be a very good landing spot for European companies, for example, that want to establish a North American presence in Canada in order to access the innovation network, the funding, etc. And which doesn't mean moving altogether totally out of Europe, but establishing a place of business. And so we've done that with some of our portfolio companies already. So once we identify opportunities that we're interested in, we are able to do some investment. So we do 2 types of investment depending on the stage of the opportunity. At the very early stage, which we could deem as being pre-seed, when typically programs are still embedded at university level, we do fund collaborative research projects. These investments are anywhere from $500,000 to up to $3 million, depending on scope and length of those projects. And the idea is really to bring those technology up to a point where the data is going to be mature enough to consider creating a company around the asset or making it a more attractive partnering opportunity for either a pharma company or an established venture-backed biotech company. So we do that at the earliest stage. What also we look to do at the seed and Series A stage is invest directly in companies. And not only do we contribute dollars, but also we have the ability to accompany and complement some of the early stage gaps that you often see in the management team and the expertise around some of the nascent biotech ventures by bringing on board some of our own scientists who act like what we call them venture scientists, or basically help originator of different innovation to basically make sure that the technology is steered towards the right commercial opportunity, but so also helping them define the development plan, sometimes acting as project manager as well, and interfacing with CROs and other vendors in the market to really help accelerate the development of these innovations. All of this with the objective of unlocking follow-on funding, because whatever we do at our stage and the kind of money we can invest, and in a case, for example, of a direct investment, initial check is going to be around $3 to $5 million, but we can't do this alone. It has to be in syndication with other funders. It could be VCs, it could be foundation, non-dilutive sources from various government programs. But the idea is really to put these new venture on a trajectory where they will be able to move along both the innovation chain by advancing their programs, but also obviously raising the capital required to bring those therapeutics to the clinic and eventually to the market. At the very end of this, what we are trying obviously to do is generate financial returns for us in order to be able to reinvest these proceeds into new projects and new companies across Canada. This is a snapshot of some of the companies we've collaborated with in the past. Some are well-known, some are publicly listed, for like Zymeworks, for example, in Vancouver, that you may know of. And this is more, let's say, an accurate perspective on our investment portfolio. So our investment portfolio comprise, but in some ways kind of represent the core therapeutic area of expertise in Canada. I mean, a lot of research funding goes into oncology and neurosciences as well. And the companies we've funded or created in the past have been mainly focused in these 2 areas, but we've been branching out into rare disease, metabolic, and immunology in recent years. We don't do, even though we have 1 company left in the medical device space, we're totally now focused on doing therapeutics, so BioPharma, that's our core business. And our, let's say, our therapeutic modality of focus is mostly around small molecule as well as typical biologicals, even though we've delved into cell therapy and gene therapy. Those are more complicated as well as more expensive modalities to bring forward as an investor. So we're really kind of focusing more around small molecule and biologics. All of this cannot be done alone, so we have been fortunate to be able to build a strong international network of co-investors that have backed these companies, and this has been especially important in recent years, given all the challenges we've seen in the funding environment in the last 2-3 years, which is not only a Canadian problem, I think it's a worldwide problem in the VC community. It's been very hard for early stage companies to be able to capture new money from investors. And our portfolio, fortunately, has shown a lot of resilience. And this is not only because of us, but also because of the co-investors that have supported these companies historically. I mentioned previously that we provide some training. This is mainly centered around the Executive Academy, the Executive Institute program, which is a national program that we put in place every year. We select about 15 individuals from companies, either pharma or biotech companies, could be small to mid-size or large, even large size. The idea is to select people that might be at the director level, but eventually want to access the C-suite and also would potentially be involved in running an early stage biotech company. The idea there is really to try to nurture the next generation of leaders in the industry. And finally, as I mentioned, we do have facilities. So historically, we had 2 facilities, one on UBC campus in Vancouver, the other one in the Saint Laurent Technopark in Montreal. And we're currently about to open a new facility in the Vancouver area in Falls Creek, where we're going to be able to host more biotech companies and service companies. All of these, again, focused on biopharma development. These facilities offer turnkey services. They're highly flexible and scalable. Also, we do animate kind of these ecosystems locally in both Vancouver and Montreal. The idea is to create events so that there's connectivity between the companies that reside there, and also organize all sorts of events and networking events, not only within the groups residing there, but obviously with the external organization from Canada, but also from elsewhere in the world that could be of interest to those tenant companies.
Frédéric, I'm really sorry, but we're going to have to wrap it up.
No, I know that's my last slide. So that's a snapshot of the organization. Obviously, the type of partners we're looking for are basically international partners that are interested in doing collaborative research initiatives, ideally ones that already collaborate with Canadian researchers. Companies also that are looking for creation and growth support, and that might have an intent of putting some of their activities in Canada. And also at the more kind of technopark or innovation centers, we're also branching out with other groups elsewhere in Europe and Asia to share best practice and extend our international network. So that's it.
Fantastic. So we are running tight on time, but I do want to take advantage of having 2 such great experts on the line to ask at least one question. I don't see anything from the audience, so I will ask, what in your two countries do you see as being the most significant barriers when moving scientific discovery from the lab toward market-ready solutions?
Yeah, I think that the problem is that we are some misaligned between the objectives and the timeline between the research that is done in research centers and also what is expected from the industry. At the end, in academia, we are mainly looking for new knowledge and new development, publications and training. And in the industry, they are looking for a final product. After that, there are different other barriers like bureaucracy also is very relevant. It's very difficult to interact with public centers, at least in Spain, because the bureaucracy is very, very large. But also, I mean, the gap between the quality level of the work that we are doing, this is very different. Working under GLP, GMP from the industry, that is something that we are not so used to work with in research centers.
Okay, great. And Frederic, how would that compare or contrast with what you see in Canada?
I think, well, I guess the three main historical challenges in Canada have been, I guess, access to capital, talent, and space, which is kind of the three area we're covering. I think in recent years, talent is still an issue, especially as company grow, because eventually you need to bring more seasoned manager, and which means often trying to import talent or bring back Canadians that have been operating or working in the United States. But I think more recently, the very dire funding environment in the VC community has made it very hard for early stage companies to be able to unlock the capital that is going to bring them to the clinic. And has been our main challenges and why we historically kind of relied a lot on US VCs to kind of co-invest alongside Canadian ones. I think with the current, I guess, geopolitical, fiscal challenges sometimes that might be put in place between our two countries, we're really more kind of aggressively branching out to the west and to the east and trying to build more relationship with both investors, innovators, and support organization to try to bring more people together around key initiatives and high value startup companies.
Yeah, it's difficult to, I mean, it's not so difficult to find funding for early stage developments going from TRL 2 to 4, but going from TRL 4 to 7, this is very difficult because the projects are very risky. I mean, and in some way we should join and try to use common pilot lines under GMP or ISO ready facilities, or try to define projects as a go, no-go decision, project more focusing milestones in order to decrease the risk of those projects. But going from those increase of TRLs, this is really, really difficult. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you to both of you for a fantastic discussion on commercialization. And I'm sorry, we don't have more time to dig into it because I think this is a really critical part of the challenges and the work that we're trying to do to bring these companies to grow. So for those of you that are listening in and are interested in more information, please don't hesitate to reach out to either of these gentlemen on our matchmaking platform to have a bit of a one-on-one conversation. So now, for our final session, we're going to look at the broader environments that allow innovation to grow, the business and biotech ecosystems that support researchers, entrepreneurs, and companies. From Spain, we're joined by Esteban Zato, Head of Promotion and Events at AceBio, the Spanish Bioindustry Association. Esteban is responsible for internationalization initiatives at AceBio, with experience in business development and marketing in the pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and medical device sectors. So Esteban, I would invite you to take it from here.
Hello, thanks for having me. As you said, today I want to show you what AceBio is, the impact we have in the Spanish biotech sector, and how we are shaping the future of biotechnology in Europe, because we collaborate in some of the proposals, such as the Biotech Act, which I will talk a little bit later. I will share my screen. I didn't.
And I'll just ask that if our last two panelists can keep it to 10 minutes, that would be fantastic.
Okay, perfect. I will be very quick. The Spanish Bioindustry Association, we were being representing the industry since 1999. We have been the voice of the biotech sector in Spain, raising awareness, supporting collaboration, and providing strategic information to companies, policymakers, and society. We do this at a national and international level, connecting our members with partners, investors, institutions, and defending their interests before the Spanish and the European administration. No, actually, we are like 340 members. I think that we are more close to 350 members. From all the parts of the value chain of companies in the biotech sector, universities, centers, and hospitals. Most of them, as you can see, they are SMEs and startups. Now you know what we are. This is based in three main pillars: the influence, the influence we have in the with the national and international stakeholders, the stable partnerships, and the strategic visibility we give to our associates for the sector. We help to unlock all the full potential of the biotechnology to address major social challenges to and contribute to the economic social development. So this is how we work and what we stand for. So I will look for some figures and show the impact we have in Spain, and how strong and dynamic the Spanish biotech ecosystem is. Since our creation, when we started, there were only in the early 2000s only 50 companies of doing biotech in Spain. At these days, we are like 1,000. And also you can see that we double or triple all the figures in research and development, the turnover, the employment, and the private funding. About the research and development, we reached this in the last 2023. We reached 1,282 billion, with 865 million contributed only by the biotech companies. About the international investors, as you can see, it was a slowdown the last year. The sector, despite this, the sector attracted 181 million in 2023, which of them 64 million was only raised by these eight transactions with international investors. As we know, the funding is essential, but the sector depends heavily also in the people behind it. So we have like one of the highest share of researchers and in research and development. Almost 10,000 students enrolled in biotechnology students, which also this is another important figure. 62% of them are women, and one is in the public universities is the biotech degree. It's cut one of the top 10 cut of scores in the public universities, as I said. The main business fabric is in Spain. It's only in Catalonia, Madrid, and Basque Country. We have around 4,400 companies operating in any way of the value chain of the biotechnology. And with this overview, our next step is how Acebio supports and promotes the ecosystem. For this, we have these main three focus topics: the regulation, the funding, and the events we have as an association. For the regulation, as you know, the Biotech Act is the European Union is preparing it to strengthen competitiveness. We actively contribute to both consultations and provided input on regulation. Also, the consultation, I thought it finished last week, the 10th of December. And as you know, it's going to be developed in two phases. 2025 is health-related regulation, and 2026 is more for industrial policy. About our contribution, we advocate to harmonize the regulation framework. We need to provide. We ask for having stronger financial tools, better scaling infrastructures, support biofabrication, solutions to the gap talent, and a solid data and artificial intelligence ecosystem. We also highlight that the biotechnology role in Europe's strategic autonomy. For the funding, we have a really close collaboration with the CSIC. Also, CSIC is member from our association. And we signed this agreement in order to accelerate technology transfer, strengthen public-private collaboration, and support initiatives like, as I saw a colleague talk before, the RST Biomed for drug discovery. And also we promote our associates and our sector in these 3 major events that we organize. We also participate in events such as the Bio in the US and Bio Japan. But our flagship event is Bio Spain. This year was like 2,400 attendees, so it's quite more or less big. And we do it big, we promote the internationalization of Spain by having numerous clusters from around the world. For example, this year we had Switzerland, we have the Canadian government, we had Mexico, Uruguay, Argentina. So that's our. Also, I work for what my main focus in here. It's Bio Spain. So. It's really, really good that it's growing, and it's going to be now. It's going to be every year. For that's it. I think I keep it in the 10 minutes. I hope I do understand my English. That's it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. 10 out of 10 on both counts, the English and keeping to time. So thank you very much. So from Canada now, I'd like to welcome Wendy Zatelny, President and CEO of Biotech Canada, Canada's National Industry Association for Biotechnology. Wendy brings over 30 years of experience tackling big policy and advocacy challenges across Canada's key sectors, from life sciences and marine transportation to telecom logistics. Wendy, over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Carolee. And well, buenas tardes o buenas noches. Es un placer estar con ustedes hoy y muchas gracias por la invitación. And I will say that that's about as far as Duolingo gets me right now. So with your permission, I am going to continue the rest in English. And if you just give me a sec here, I will do the same thing that that everybody else has done, which is to share my screen. And I'm hoping that everybody can see it.
We see it, not in presentation mode just yet, just on your...
Yeah, which is interesting because it is in presentation mode, but there we go. I think we're good now, right?
Okay, now it's there. Yeah.
Todo está bien? So again, thank you very much. As Carolee mentioned, we are Biotech Canada. We are the national association representing the biotechnology sector in Canada. Our membership, we have over 200 members, and our membership is representative of the entire continuum or spectrum, if you will, from early stage startups, academia, early stage startups, commercial biotech, big pharma companies, as well as investors, incubators, and accelerator organizations, such as Inmari that you heard from. And we work intensively with, as I said, we're national, with national scope, but we work extensively with the provincial life sciences organizations as well, plus an international network of like-minded associations, including the International Council of Biotech Associations, Europa Bio, OSBio, and others. So we work nationally, we work provincially, and we work internationally as well, particularly to help smooth the way to kinds of partnerships that we're talking about. So today, picking up where Esteban left off in terms of what he was talking about, I want to lead you through a little bit of what the biotech sector, what the ecosystem looks like in Canada. Certainly, we're often thought of in terms of resource extraction and agricultural production, but we have a very long and noble history in health innovation. We've parlayed this history into Canada being a leading destination for life sciences collaboration, with frankly quite a lot to offer, and a strong national commitment to growing our biopharmaceutical research and development capacity, our clinical research, and our biomanufacturing capacity. And you can see here we have multiple hubs where these are really sort of areas of critical mass in Canada that have been developed. But the reality is that we are present and have a strong capacity in each of the provinces, including, I have to say, a strong biomanufacturing capacity in PEI through BioVectra. At the same time, we have a very strong commitment to an active program of seeking out international partnerships. And I was listening to Frédéric earlier talking about referring to the geopolitical situation. And as we know, we now are engaged both from the government and from ourselves in the biotech sector in a truly active program of reaching out, offshoring and building and strengthening the relationships that we have established over the past. A little bit about life sciences sector by the numbers. 1,100 companies, over 1,100 companies spanning from coast to coast to coast. We count 122,000 employees. It's a little bit higher than Frédéric's numbers, but that's also through how Industry, Science, and Economic Development counts the sector, and they include innovative pharmaceuticals in there. We've got over 100 digital health and AI companies and over 60 incubators and accelerators, again, including organizations such as Admari. And in terms of the strengths, again, we have a deep tradition of health innovation, starting from even before insulin back in the early 1900s through to the Ebola vaccine, as well as innovation in manufacturing capacity, whether it was the Toronto method for polio manufacturing, all the way to COVID now. And in fact, I understand we have some 30% of the world's biofermentation capacity in Canada. You see there the list of what we consider to be the strengths in terms of biopharmaceuticals or biotechnology, but particularly deep strength in radiopharmaceuticals, mRNA, and AI-driven drug development. And as you may know, Canada is a world leader in artificial intelligence technology overall. And so our this is buttressed by a strong clinical trial environment, supported by a diverse patient population, high-quality healthcare system, and trusted regulatory oversight. And in fact, our international partners do point to our reliability, our openness, and our partnership-driven approach. And people say we're polite. The important thing here is that not only are we saying this about ourselves, but the federal government confirms it as well. And again, as Frédéric alluded to, and as you've heard elsewhere, the federal government has sent many signals in identifying and saying that it sees life sciences and biotechnology as a key growth sector for the Canadian economy. And they have put money and investment and policy behind that commitment. So most recently, we had a federal budget recently. We had a commitment of $1 billion in federal investment fund aimed at increasing access to capital for life sciences companies. That was coupled with improvements to Canada's R&D tax incentive mechanisms to better support research and development done in Canada. And there are significant initiatives underway to improve and streamline our regulatory system to make approval processes more predictable and better aligned with other leading global regulators. So again, this is very much, I think, consistent with what we see, especially on the regulatory streamlining side. We see that in other countries as well. Certainly, we know Europe is doing a lot of that. Esteban had mentioned the legislation that is currently under discussion. But the reality is that, again, from a Canadian perspective, we're looking at it both from a funding perspective and a regulatory perspective to be able to grow the sector. Again, very much built for collaboration. Frédéric talked a little bit about this, but we do have a system set up in which the hospitals, the universities, and industry are closely connected and very much used to collaborating on joint projects. You saw earlier, I showed where the hubs are across Canada that create those kinds of relationships. And what you see here is some of the outcomes in terms of targeted investment and partnerships that have evolved out of this approach. That is again buttressed by strong clinical trials capacity. And I have to say that there's significant work being done right now by the Accelerating Clinical Trials Consortium to develop a almost a one-stop or a single window of opportunity to come into developing clinical trials. You might know we currently we have out of our 10 provinces, healthcare is delivered provincially, so there are provincial differences in terms of access to medical records and whatnot. There is, again, this consortium working very much to smooth all that out so that it becomes almost, again, a single window, one-stop shop for bringing clinical trials and executing clinical trials in Canada. And then again, federal programs such as the Biomanufacturing Life Sciences Strategy that was announced 2 years ago are designed to support these partnerships and scale up with global companies. And you know, we've seen some successes between Canada and Spain as well. So Grifols expanded into Canada in 2020 by acquiring Green Cross facilities in Montreal, and now has a major presence in Montreal, where it is modernizing a plasma manufacturing facility and is partnered with Canada Blood Services to increase the domestic supply of plasma-derived medicines. And then similarly in 2016, Toronto-based Northern Biologics merged with Barcelona's Mosaic Biomedicals to advance MSC1, which is a first-in-class oncology treatment, oncology antibody, creating a Canada-Spain partnership that accelerated clinical development across Europe and North America. And then predictably, it was taken over in 2020 by Boehringer Ingelheim, which acquired Northern Biologics' preclinical antibody programs in Toronto. But this shows how the collaborations that are rooted in this case, Canadian-Spanish science, really can grow into globally relevant oncology assets. So being mindful of the time, I'll close just by talking about some of what we bring through both Biotech Canada as, say, your doorway into the, or one of the doorways that you have into the life sciences and biotechnology sector in Canada, but also through the entire sector and what the government brings with it is very much the assets of a highly skilled, diverse, globally minded talent base, multilingual, I might add. Strong IP protections, a competitive R&D incentives that we continue to advocate to improve and strengthen to attract investment. Integrated innovation-focused clusters that support the kind of collaboration and scale-up that we want to see. And a research and industry culture built on openness, reliability, and international partnership. And I hope, and we all look forward to being able to explore how that can actually be grounded in kinds of partnerships and projects that you might be considering. So, Carolee, hope I brought that in under 10 minutes.
You did. Fantastic. So I don't see any questions in the chat just yet, but I'll go ahead and ask one of my own then. So Esteban, if you want to turn on your camera and join us as well. Looking ahead, what do your two organizations see as the key challenges and opportunities for strengthening your national innovation ecosystems?
Well, I think it's the first challenge is the financing, since the biotech sector requires a significant amount of money. Secondly, the companies operate in a complex regulatory environment, either in Spain or in Europe, which can slow down the approvals and market access. And also another major challenge, it's finding specialized talent, particularly for the industrial scale-up or advanced biotechnologies. Finally, I think it's the company size is a barrier because most of the biotech firms are here in Spain, at least, they are SMEs, as I said, or micro SMEs. So we need them. They need the support to grow.
Okay. And Wendy, what do you think?
So in terms of challenges, actually very similar to what Esteban has described. I think access to financing, absolutely, particularly in Canada for early stage companies. We talk about the Valley of Death, which is that early stage where you get initial startup money and then getting them through the preclinical stage, get enough financing in there to then start getting into clinical trials and commercialization, like at that. So being able to bridge that that gap is a challenge, particularly, again, given the geopolitical situation that we have, where what we're hearing very much is a lot of the known, not only supply chains, but the capital flows have been, if not appended, then certainly have felt a whiplash effect from the changes that have been emanating out of our friends and neighbors to the south of us. So there's been that challenge of access to sufficient capital, compounded by now everybody's in this place where everything has been upended. A lot of companies, especially at the big pharmaceutical end of the scale, are rethinking where they're putting their investment. There's, money that's being drawn into the US. So that's created challenges for us. Similarly, on the regulatory side, regulatory streamlining and making sure that understanding that regulation is necessary and important, but it can also be a cost to business. So being able to smooth out that process or allow the process to be as streamlined as possible is one that thankfully we're seeing. It's a challenge, but we're seeing some movement on. You'd also asked about opportunities, and I would say just in that case, what I mentioned earlier, and I would say, never let a challenge not become an opportunity, because that appending, I think, has actually made Canada certainly rethink its known pathways and its known relationships, and has forced us to become very creative and open in seeking new relationships and new capital flows, for example, and new investment partners. And I think that's actually an extraordinarily healthy thing. Canada, I believe, firmly has a lot to offer in terms of partnerships. So to be able to use this time of chaos and change to forge these new pathways and, again, new opportunities for members is probably one of the biggest opportunities we have in front of us.
Fantastic. Well, pulling on that thread a little bit, in your view, what types of cross-border collaboration between Spain and Canada, or more broadly, would have the greatest impact on strengthening global biotech innovation?
Ooh, it's an interesting one. I think the example that I gave is a really good one in terms of pointing a pathway forward. There's significant and certainly I think a greater number of small and medium-sized enterprises in Spain than there are in Canada. And finding areas where we can, areas of specialization in terms of whether it's oncology, blood, or other areas that could be, speak to our relative strengths would be one area to explore. Wish I could be a little bit more specific than that, but at this point, 11 months into this job, I'm not even going to start commenting on therapeutic areas beyond that.
Yeah, Esteban, and it doesn't have to be specific to a certain area of therapeutic. It could also be the nature of, and I think, Wendy, you're speaking to the research and the matching of the science backgrounds.
Well, at least I'm going to give here my point of view and what I work for. I think for strengthening the connection with Canada, one of the main things I think it's to going to these events. Either they come to Spain or we go to Canada as and the important to have the delegations in these events. It's really huge because it also allows that both companies across the borders they know what is in Spain and we know what is in Canada, because otherwise it's like a new world from most of the companies. Maybe we have shorter barriers regarding them. We have the internet, we have these kind of meetings, and we can get really close with this and going to these events.
Great, thank you. So thank you to both of you for those reflections. We're now going to turn to the next section of the program, to a practical and forward-looking segment of our programming, funding opportunities for biopharmaceutical research and innovation collaboration between Spain and Canada. This presentation will be delivered by Cristina Aguro-Diez, International Technician at CSIC. Cristina, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, I will share my screen.
Yep.
Is it okay?
Looks good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so good morning to those connecting from Canada, and good evening already to those in Spain. My name is Cristina Agudo. I work as an international research programs officer at the Vice Presidency for International Affairs in CSIC. So first of all, thank you for joining us, and also thank you for organizing this event, Carolee, and for my colleagues also in the Vice Presidency for Knowledge Transfer. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to share with you some funding opportunities that I hope that will be able to foster collaboration between Canada and Spain. I have structured my presentation in two parts. First of all, I will give you a little overview about the Horizon Europe program, which probably you are well, at least many of you are familiar with. And I will highlight a selection of topics that I believe are particularly interesting for the biopharma sector. And then I will introduce other two programs that are iLink and Eureka. Just a disclaimer here that I don't manage these two programs, but well, the first one is managed by people from my vice presidency, so I will give you their contact email in case you have further questions or you would like to get more information. And the other one, that is Eureka, is a program managed by the Spanish Innovation Agency, the CDTI, and currently doesn't have any manager assigned at CSIC, but we think it could be of interest for you because also offers collaboration opportunities for Canadian and Spanish companies. So before diving into details, here are some figures about CSIC's participation in Horizon Europe, just to show off a little. These numbers are from 2023 because we don't have yet the updated data from last year. But the key message here is that even today, CSIC remains as the second most active organization in Horizon Europe in terms of funded actions. And in 2023, we had more than 1,180 submitted proposals in this program. So we are particularly strong in pillar 2, which is the part of the program where Canada is associated right now and can participate just like other European member states or European beneficiaries. So I will focus on this pillar 2 and more in concrete in some calls of the health cluster that we call cluster 1. Because, well, I thought that is the part of the program that maybe is of most interest for you. I have to say from the beginning that all the calls that I'm going to explain are included in this particular document. I don't know if Rosalia maybe can share with you the link because you maybe after the presentation have any questions or maybe you want to go into detail in some of them. And well, if you do so, please go and find the scope part of each call because it's where the Commission really explains in detail what will be found and also what is expected in terms of the scope and the goals of the projects. So first of all, some considerations that are common to these European calls. Horizon Europe, well, at least the calls that we will see today, funds collaborative projects. This means that proposals must involve at least 3 independent entities from 3 independent EU member states or associated countries, as it is Canada right now. Also, proposals in this program should cover the entire value chain. This means that in this type of calls, we can see a large number of partners for each proposal, usually between 8 and 11, more or less, because the budget is high, is usually between 6 and 10 million euros per project. So we have for each proposal a huge number of actors from the academia, regulators, industry partners, and so on. You can see it on the slide. Also, topics are highly specific and policy driven. This means that proposals should strictly follow the requirements that are set out in the call. Also, I wanted to say that in terms of scientific technical capacity, these Horizon Europe calls are not really they don't ask for the CVs. So seniority is not something that really matters. What matters is that you can demonstrate a solid technician and technical expertise and the ability to address what is in the code. Also to note that all the actions that we will see today are research and innovation actions. And the only meaning of this is that the funding will cover 100% of the eligible cost for the participants and also for companies. And please note also that the expected budget for each call will be different, as well as the deadlines. Because I don't have much time, I will focus on what is funded, but you can see that the budgets and also the deadlines differ for next year and the following one. So first of all, we have these two calls that are related somehow. The first one supports research and development of prophylactic and therapeutic vaccines for emerging viral infections that have an epidemic potential. And then we have the second one that is partially related to the previous one, but in this case, the topic targets antiviral drugs for emerging viral infections. You will see that in both topics, there is a list of targeted viruses in the work program, so maybe you can check it later. You have there some examples, for example, the Andes virus, the Hendra virus, the Hantan virus, but there is a list of maybe 10 of them. So if you have the time, I propose you to check both. About international collaboration, I can say that cooperation here is particularly encouraged with countries that are affected by these pathogens. And also I wanted to highlight that if you have any collaborator or partner that is reliable in the US, they have also a 100% funding from the European Union for these two calls. Okay. These other two are also related. That's why I put them on the same slide. In this third topic, funding is provided for the development of monoclonal antibodies to prevent and treat infections caused by flaviviruses, such as dengue or the Zika. So funded activities includes preclinical studies, but also first-in-human clinical trials. And in the second one, we have a topic that also finds monoclonal antibodies, but in this case, it targets some emerging viruses that you have also a list of them. For example, I remember that is Ebola, Marburg, and other ones that are listed. In this case, international collaboration is also encouraged with the endemic regions. In this third topic, we have funding for clinical trials to validate innovative interventions for neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer or Parkinson. The main context here is that current treatments are mainly focused on alleviating symptoms and could be also serious, in side effects. So we need safer, more effective therapeutic solutions, and that's why this topic is here this year. These interventions that are funded are primarily pharmacological. That's why also I wanted to share them with you. But you should keep in mind that they have to be combined with other complementary approaches, for example, lifestyle changes, cognitive training, or other activities that are also funded by the call. Then we have other two more calls. These are more related with personalized medicine. So in this one, the funds are aimed to develop personalized medicine approaches to mitigate adverse drugs reaction in patients taking multiple medications. It should be 3 or more medications. And solution in these cases should be based on genetic information and biomarker-driven strategies. They should also integrate digital health technologies such as electronic health records, or maybe use the artificial intelligence systems and so on. And the participation of startups, micro, small, and SMEs is particularly encouraged in this call. And for the last one, we have here funding for clinical development of predictive biomarkers for chronic communicable diseases, excluding cancer in this case, because we have some calls that are aimed to cancer treatment that I will show you later. Using established AI methodologies. And the goal here is to integrate existing and candidate biomarker data and also clinical studies and real-world data to advance personalized medicine, and at the end, create more effective therapeutic interventions. Participation of SMEs is also strongly encouraged, as well as to have an early engagement with regulators. And as I was saying, well, as a final note also for the Horizon Europe program, we have also another draft work program just for the missions cluster. For me, the part that I would like you to share is the one related with cancer, because you will have some calls focused on funding projects related with the research and also the treatment of this disease. So you can find it in this link as well. There are some opportunities in AI-based treatments, tools for early detection of the disease, clinical innovations, patient treatments. So maybe if you work on cancer research, you can explore a little bit these topics. And well, as I promised, I will talk a little bit about this program. That is iLink. It's a program designed by CSIC to promote international collaboration between our institution and also other international partners. It doesn't fund research projects themselves. It's rather a way to support networking activities, workshops, seminars, or other type of activities that at the end can create and can build a strong consortia, and later these consortia maybe have the potential to apply to major international calls, for example, the ones from Horizon Europe. And well, just to tell you that the call of this year is already closed, but I have been talking with my colleagues and they told me that the same opening date and the same budget are gonna be maintained for next year. So if nothing changes, the 2026 call will be open in May, and each action will be able to receive up to 30,000 euros over 2 years. There are no thematic restrictions, but the alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals is required in the activities. And also the program identifies a number of priority countries that the six wanted to collaborate with, and well, Canada is included in this list. And the last one that I will share with you is Eureka. Eureka is an international program aimed at companies and also research centers that are part of the Eureka network and wish to collaborate with other partners that belong also to the same network. Just to say that this network is a global one, it has a global reach, because it includes most European countries, but also some members outside Europe. For example, Canada is there, South Korea, and other countries. It offers a variety of funding instruments. I share here 4 of them that for me are the most common ones. So the first one is Eurostars, that supports international research and development projects that are led by innovative SMEs. These projects must involve, I think, at least 2 independent entities from 2 different countries that belong to the network. And they are projects which should be market-oriented, because at the end, the goal is to develop innovative products, so processes, services, with a final focus on commercialization. Then we have the clusters that at the end, they are calls for projects which are launched by strategic areas, like more or less the same as the clusters in Horizon Europe. And for now, I think that you have one in artificial intelligence, in mobility, energy, and there are some others that you can explore as well. You have also the network projects instrument. This instrument provides access to funding for international research and development collaborations among companies of all size that aim to develop innovative products, processes, or services. And it's also an instrument that is very interesting because it's very flexible. And also it's bottom up, so the companies define the thematic focus. And also it's flexible because there are few limitations in terms of the participation. And the last one is Invest Readiness. This instrument helps SMEs to attract private investment, providing training, mentoring, networking activities, and so on with investors. So it's a good opportunity as well. And with regards to the funding model, each country funds its own participants in Eureka. I know that in Spain we have the CDTI, that is the national project coordinator, and well, it handles the promotion, the evaluation, the monitoring of the projects. But I don't know in Canada, I think it's the National Research Council, but well, I can be wrong. And well, once that the project is approved at the Eureka level, then the participants should ask for the national fund in other process that is from his country. And well, this is all by my side. You have my email here in case you have any questions or you want to know further for well, discuss any of the opportunities. And thank you so much again to everybody that is attending today and to the organizers. Thank you. I cannot hear you. I don't know if you are muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you, Christina, for outlining those valuable funding pathways. And I can confirm that it is NRC that runs the matching program to CEDETI Eureka in Canada. And it's specifically actually NRC IRAP funding, which Stacy talked about earlier on in the webinar. Next, we have a demonstration on the use of the B2 Match platform, an important tool for fostering networking and collaboration. I'm pleased to introduce Rosalia Fel Calvo, project manager at CSIC, who will guide us through it.
Okay, I think you can see my screen.
Yes, no problem.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So I will talk a little bit about the platform we enable for to be able for you to cooperate and match with the participants on this webinar. You can find the link on the chat. I put it on the chat. I'm going to explain the 3 steps you have to take to be able to register on the app and the platform. Match with anyone you want. So the first step is to create an account. You have the link in the chat, as I said before. The link is going to be open, the registration is going to be open until December 4th. So you have 2 weeks to enter the platform and register. The first thing you have to do, as I say, is to create an account. Here you will find the different parts you have to fill in. You have to fill in your name, your email address, the password. Then you have to choose which type of participant you are. You will have to say if you are a researcher, a company, or a public administration. This part is very important because depending on which type of participant you choose, you will see another type of participants. For example, if you're a researcher, you're going to be able to see companies and public administrations only. And the third part of the creating your new account is to complete your profile with as much information as you can. This is important because this information will appear visible once the other participants are looking for possible matches. So if you fill in with as much information as possible, it will be easier for other participants to see if they can, if they want to arrange a meeting with you or they are not interested. Here are the parts that you have to fill in with the personal details. As you can see, there's a lot of things you can fill in, for example, the sector and subsector you are working on. So it's a very detailed profile, but it's important that you have a detailed profile to be able to have a suitable match. The second step is to post a profile to showcase your needs. Once you have created this account, you will need to create to add an opportunity. And then this is the page you will see once you created your profile. And here you can see there's a section that says create opportunities. When you click to add opportunities, you will have to choose between service or expertise. Service is if you are a company or a public administration entity, you are offering a service. So you will have to post your opportunity using the tab service. But if you are a researcher, you are giving us your expertise. So you will have to choose the expertise option. And then you will have a text box which you can fill with all the information about this opportunity you are, of this service or this expertise you are offering to the other participants. And as I said before, once again, you have to, or you should add as much information as possible, because with this information is you going to use to based on your decision of making a match with another person or not. And you can make your opportunity visible whenever you like. So you can fill this text box the first day, and if you want to wait until the end for whatever reason, you can do it. And the third step and the final one is that you have this part here is the homepage, and there you will find 3 different tabs. The first tab is participants. There you will have a list of already registered participants, and as I said before, once you click in one participant, you will find all the information that they completed on the profile. Then you will have the marketplace tab. There you will have this is one here, this is one example. There you will have the list of all the opportunities that have been created by other participants. And there you will search and scroll down through all of the opportunities. If you are interested in some opportunity and want to know more about the opportunity or the participant, you can click on the name of the person that created the opportunity, and here you will find more information about this participant. And then on the last, and here also you can send in a message and schedule a meeting. Here is the place, and the marketplace is where you will find all the opportunities that have been created, and the place where you will be able to schedule meetings with other participants. And then you have the third tab, which is the agenda, and there you will have you will find all the meetings that you have scheduled. So the most important thing, as I said before, is that you create your profile with as much information as possible, and once you create the opportunity, you give all the necessary details for other people to be able to see if there's a suitable opportunity for them to collaborate with you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for attending this amazing webinar that we have created with the Canada Consulate. And if you have any question, here is my email. You can ask me. I probably tomorrow I will send to all of the people who have registered in the webinar a PDF with the explanation on how to register on B2Match with these steps I just talked about and with the links. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rosalia. We're now opening the floor for a broader question session. So if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask, whether about the funding programs or the B2Match platform, please feel free to put those questions in the chat box. I'll just give that a couple of seconds because I know had a number of people that needed to leave early, I guess, but there are still some people on the line, so looking forward to seeing if there's any burning questions that anyone has that they'd like to answer. And if something comes to mind afterwards that you think, oh, I should have asked about that and I didn't, please do feel free to look up either myself or my colleague or Apollo on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to answer your questions. You can also find the coordinates of the Canadian Consulate via web. So we've got a question here about Horizon Europe. Is there a way to look up existing consortia? Christina.
Well, in the funding and tenders platform, I think that there is a little webpage where you can look for partners and see if any consortium is being created in each call. So you have to register in the funding and tenders portal, and you have to find the specific call that you are interested in, and you just find the section. So maybe you can also create a profile there explaining what you are looking for, or if someone is coordinating, just write an email to this person. Yeah.
I believe there's actually a section within that portal that's called partner search. And
Yeah.
that's where you can put in if you're offering or if you're looking for, and you can
What you
also
are
see if
looking
there's
for,
people
yeah.
looking for. You can also keep an eye on the national contact point networks for the various clusters within the pillars. They organize info days and matchmaking sessions as well that you can take advantage of to identify partners. No problem. Okay. Right. Well, do we have any questions from anybody from CSIC that's spoken this evening, or our hosts? All right, then I guess I'll move on to wrap up the webinar. And as we wrap up, I want to take the opportunity to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our panelists for sharing their expertise. There was really some fantastic content in tonight's webinar. I learned a lot, and I hope it was useful for our attendees as well, and to all of you who've logged in to join us this evening. Today's discussions highlighted not only the strengths of Spain and Canada individually, but the tremendous potential we have to connect our ecosystems, share knowledge, and collaborate across borders. As a representative of the Government of Canada and someone who has dedicated their career to advancing international connections for Canada around the world, it is incredibly rewarding to see the kind of interest and engagement that I have witnessed during today's session. I can also sincerely say that Canadians would be hard-pressed to find more sincere, warm, and collaborative partners than those that you can find in Spain. Spain is a country of people that truly know the value and know the importance of bringing and being dedicated to humanity in everything they do. I hope that your participation today and in the matchmaking platform that CSIC has so generously made available for the next 2 weeks sparks new ideas, new relationships, and new opportunities. Please do use the B2Match platform to take full advantage of the opportunity to learn more about and connect with the other attendees of today's webinar. Finally, before formally closing the session, I would like to recognize the incredible work done by Rosalia Fel-Calvo, the project manager at CSIC, and Aurora Polo Ferrer, Trade Commissioner for Life Sciences at the Consulate of Canada in Barcelona, in making today's event possible. Thank you, ladies. Thank you once again, and we look forward to continuing the conversation in future events.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Hasta luego.
Chao.